Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let me uncrust these lips real quick. Y'all hear Ellie over there? What's up, baby? Literally, as soon as I come in and say, hey guys, she starts getting fussy. Like, she does not like it when I film anymore. Like, she's gone from wanting to be the center of attention to just complaining about it. And she was just in the bed, curled up, sleeping, you know, no issues. Case in point. 1 second. So anyway, welcome back for another installment of Self-Care Sunday, technically Mask Monday. Because I just decided not to upload or do anything during the Easter holiday. I'm actually filming this on Easter, but I didn't feel like spending my entire holiday working, which is what I would have done if I had been uploading everything. I still wanted to spend time with my family. So before I get into all that good Easter celebrating stuff, I wanted to come down and do Self-Care Sunday and just have a chat with you guys. This Self-Care Sunday, I'm going to be using this Aphogee Curlific texture treatment. Let's see. Improves elasticity, repairs damaged curls, coils, and waves. I've had this for a minute and I haven't used it, and I was just going through my stash and I was like, I really need to use this. Plus my girl Linda, she really loves this, and I'm more the type of person that's into elasticity treatments over using like a hardcore protein treatment, like things like that. I'm just not doing enough to my hair to warrant that. Usually I kind of have to use those like in the summer as preventative care, more so because I'm in the sun a lot. And it does start to affect my hair. Like sometimes I can kind of smell my hair burning in the heat. And then I will follow up with something that's a little heavier in the protein. But as far as like hardcore protein treatments, I don't really use those. I prefer like an elasticity treatment. So it says Curlific products are pH optimized for maximum results and contain our exclusive prophytamine complex. I think that's how you say it, prophytamine. Utilizing proteins for strength, emollients for shine, and humectants for softness, which is exactly what I'm looking for right now. Curlific is serious care for textured hair. Wavy, curly, or coiled hair types are more susceptible to damage than straight hair due to structure and styling resistance. Weekly use of Curlific texture treatment maintains beautiful hair, regardless of the environment or styling regimen. A must for color treated curls. The directions say to shampoo with Curlific textured hair wash. I don't have that. I actually just did like a hardcore clarification session, which I'm hoping worked because I had some crud in my hair that I was just struggling getting out. So I like cleansed my hair hard. So I went in and I clarified, and then I went in with a moisturizing shampoo after. I used the Curl Origin, the charcoal shampoo, the charcoal detox shampoo. That's the one that I used after my Wash Day Delight. And I went in with my Wash Day Delight heavy, like I was not playing games. So that's what I did. It says after rinsing with warm water, work a liberal amount of Curlific texture treatment through your thirsty locks. Leave on for a minute and then rinse, finishing with cool water. The first 5 ingredients in this are water, sterile alcohol, cetyl alcohol, beta-aminopropyl dimethylamine, and glycerin. There is shea butter, hydrolyzed quinoa, hydrolyzed vegetable protein directly following that. There's a lot of different oils in here too. There's sodium PCA in here, which is a really good ingredient. There's pumpkin seed oil in here. This does have cones in it, which you guys know I don't care about. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. And then I'm also going to be styling my hair in this Self-Care Sunday too. I'm just going to be revisiting some products that I am just so about. But I feel like sometimes I feel different about hair products as my hair grows longer. So I'm going to be using my main choice Ancient Egyptian Cuticle Control Leave-In Lotion and 24 karat glistening gold twisting gel, but I'm going to be doing a wash and go. I personally don't like to do twist outs and braid outs with gels, only because of the drying time. Even underneath a hooded dryer, it still takes longer for my hair to dry. So I have a lot to talk about in this video because there just suddenly became a lot to talk about. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. If you are interested in hearing my thoughts on some of the shit that's going on in the community right now, and also just checking out and seeing how this wash day goes for me, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I already gave you guys a rundown on the products, so I don't need to do that again. But I definitely, I went hardcore. Like, I really did go in with the intention of stripping my hair, only because I needed to, you know. And if you're ever in a position where you need to, you know. But my curls still look really good. Like, I finally got it. Okay, yeah. You guys will see in a video coming up, I had some stuff in my hair that I was really struggling to get out after like several washes, and I said that I was going to try really, really hard to get a good enough clarification on it. And if I couldn't, then I was going to go get my Trader Joe's Tea Tree Tingle, which is one of the strongest clarifiers of life. I prefer not to use it too often, but if you really have something that you can't get out of your hair, that is a very inexpensive option that I highly suggest. It will literally strip you of your sins. Like, I swear Jesus has had it in the bottle somewhere, because it will strip you of your sins. But anyway, so my boo, Akia from A Love For Me, decided to make a video about, responding to some of the questions people have presented her with when it comes to this trend of not using oils and butters in your hair care regimen. And it really turned into, I personally feel like, a whole lot of shit that it didn't have to be, because people went in and took a broad conversation and took it personally and decided that it was a personal attack on them. Even though she wasn't speaking about one person, one group, one method, this is something that has been going around in the natural hair community for years, not just from other stylists, but also from some other YouTubers who, even though I respect the method, have not presented you guys with real logic as to why they feel like you should do it too, you know what I mean? And I'm always the type of person where, you guys know, I really am more of that common sense type of natural, right? To me, if it don't make sense, then why go out of your way to do it? I'm not going to be out here dousing my hair in rice water and all sorts of other things because someone said that women from one specific tribe in one specific country 2,000 years ago did this and it worked for them. Like, we're not under those same conditions anymore, you know what I mean? I am thoughtful enough to know that I can have respect for certain practices and certain things that people in my culture or other cultures did a long time ago, but also respect that we live in a completely different planet too. Like, there's just no need for a lot of the things that were done back then because they didn't have those technologies and they didn't have those resources. But not only that, but we also live on a severely dirty planet, and that also plays a role too. The lifestyle that you have from city to city, the things that you may need to do to your hair vary, you know? Some places are very dirty in comparison to others. You may not need to do the same things that you need to do when you live in New York if you move to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, because it's very, very different, you know? Just in terms of the nature of these places alone, it is very, very different, right? And so basically, Akia was essentially saying, like, you know, a lot of times we end up in these us versus them conversations when it comes to influencers and stylists. And this is honestly absolutely nothing new. Like, this has always been kind of a headbutting thing, which to me is ironic considering that some of the biggest influencers on YouTube are actually licensed stylists. And they have fed us just as much bullshit as anyone who doesn't know hair from Adam, you know what I mean? So there is also that too, you know, we get lost in this fray of lumping everyone under this influencer umbrella when in actuality, those people that you see that are balling, that are huge and making all this money don't even come close to those of us who are just out here just just sharing just to share, and we happen to make money in the process, you know? There has always been that disconnect there for a very long time. And I feel like every year there's something that kind of makes it crop up again, for whatever reason. And so when Akia made this video, I know she made that video with like the purest of intentions. She was just having a genuine, candid conversation about, you know, how the things that you say don't just exist in a vacuum. They don't just exist in an echo chamber, you know? Like, we like to pretend that they do. Like, you say what you want on YouTube and you hop off and life is just whatever. Like, the things that you say don't affect people, but we know that that's not true. And we also know that even, yes, if it is scientifically founded and scientifically based, one method may not necessarily be the best for every single person, right? It's okay to try new things. Like, we literally exist in a world where, like, trying new things is the thing. Trying new things is the way of survival and the way of thriving in a lot of ways, you know? When it comes to hair care, when it comes to just your personal health, your mental health, your body, everything, right? There's nothing wrong with trying new things, but what she was getting at was that there's this issue of speaking in absolutes, as if everyone doesn't do things this way specifically, then you're stupid, you're ignorant, you need to shut up because you don't have a degree or you don't have a certification. You just need to be quiet and not speak, you know? And this is the truth, and nothing else exists around this truth, and that's it. And a lot of times there are people who speak in that manner. And especially with this issue of Black Girl Curls, because they immediately just hopped in, them and a lot of their very rude supporters and followers. And I'm just gonna say this, don't come on my channel with that bullshit. I know it's Easter Sunday, Lord forgive me. Actually, you know what? You don't have anything to forgive me for because you gave me the free will to do what I need to do. So anyway, don't come on my channel with that bullshit, because at the end of the day, I'm speaking from a place of all sides, because I think the thing that I'm sick of in this community is every single side pretending like there isn't accountability to be had on every single side. And when I say every single side, I mean the stylist, the influencer, and the consumer. Yes, you, the consumer, as well. Because as I consistently say, you guys also set the trends. You guys also set the stage for what people are doing. Content creators aren't just making product reviews just to make product reviews. You know, like that just isn't a thing. If you guys didn't want product reviews, there wouldn't be anything to be done here. If you didn't want to know what people are doing technique-wise, if you didn't want to watch people's journeys, there wouldn't be anything to be done here. But also, there are a bulk of you who know full well that people are being dishonest with you and you continue to support it. You will go on someone else's channel and you'll say, oh, I don't like this behavior, but then go on that same person's channel who you were just saying you didn't like their behavior and be like, girl, I can't believe people talk about you and people don't like you. But you were just talking about them on somebody else's channel. This is the thing about being a small influencer, is that we know who y'all are. We know who you are. We know your faces. We know your names. And for the most part, it is a genuine, kind, and loving space. But unfortunately, there is also that subset of our community that just thrives off of negativity and drama for no reason whatsoever. And I say that because Akia's video didn't have to be blown up into what it was, but it was blown up into that because people decided to take it personally as opposed to basic commentary on something that is not absolute law. Like, it's not, you know? We can talk about science all day. You guys know I talk about science all the time because my degree is a science-based degree. I still, yes, believe in science, but you know the thing about science is that science is a community of people who question everything. That's the point of science, is to question everything. That is the literal point. Listen, in the scientific community, you cannot do anything without being questioned and accepting that questioning. This is why when bad research comes out, research that hasn't been peer reviewed, research that hasn't been vetted by several different people, a lot of us don't even pay attention to it. It's because there is that level of checks and balances for a reason. Because everything is supposed to be questioned. That's the point. Science is a question. Without questions, you don't have science. Like, you just don't. Like, anyone who has taken any basic science course knows that the crux of really studying anything scientific starts with a question and ends with an answer, and probably ends with another question, because the answer you get leads you to another question, right? So a lot of what I'm hearing is people still continuing to speak in absolutes. And I don't think people understand how toxic the behavior is. And I hate to throw that word around because everybody calling everybody toxic now, right? Everybody's toxic, but it really is. And it's the community in general, right? Because when it comes down to it, nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody. But my thing is, if your intentions are good, if you're coming from a place of genuinely just wanting to support your community, to create things that the people that watch you want to see, or to help your clients, or to help support the influencers that you watch, to help support the stylists that you love that have helped you get to where you are in your hair journey, then accountability should not bother you. Accountability should not be triggering to you at all. And I have to question why so many people are triggered. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'll be honest. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, she didn't discuss the method in its entirety. And that's the thing. The video was not directed at Black Girl Curls. Black Girl Curls and their followers decided that that video was purely about them. And I will say this, there were several of us in that comment section who were trying to have meaningful conversations, but none of y'all little Black Girl Curls folks were actually trying to have a conversation back. You see what I'm saying? We're saying, oh, we can have a conversation about this. You know, I see no reason why influencers and stylists can't work together to really help out our communities. And if there are things that you want us to know as stylists, we're here to listen. A lot of us have already been trying very, very hard to course correct when it comes to a lot of the bullshit that we see in the natural hair community, right? You guys know this. Those of you that follow me know that a whole lot of the things that these stylists have been saying, I've been saying for a long time. People have talked shit about me about it. People have tried to crucify me for it, but I don't care because I know that I'm just being 100% honest. And when it comes down to it, I am trying to help you guys so that you are not just making decisions based on someone else who was just trying to get, you know, a check next to their name, you know, or get a brand deal, you know, like to me, all of that is the icing on the cake with all of this. But I'm already getting out what I wanted in the first place, which was cultivating a community of people that I respect and who respect me, who trust me and I trust them. I take advice from you guys as much as you take advice from me. That is what I really wanted coming out of this, to be able to help support my community, to share my journey. And honestly, I wish I had been able to start my channel sooner when I was really going through it and when I was really, you know, in there with my stylist going through all of these things, because she helped me a lot. And I wish that I could have shown that with you guys, because at the point when I came on YouTube, I had really done all of the trials and the tribulations and the testing when it came to my natural hair, with the help of my stylist and my aunt, who was also a stylist. And so a lot of times when we come on here and we've already kind of completed the journey, it is kind of difficult to build that connection because you have an audience of people who are still in the phase of trying to figure it out. A lot of you guys are still trying to figure it out, and that is totally okay. But when it comes down to it, we can share information with each other without being assholes. We can share information with each other without being condescending, without being rude. That goes for the influencer and the stylist. And also some of y'all in these comment sections, because some of y'all be getting real nasty and I just delete you because because it's like, it's just not necessary. I can't even hear what you're trying to say because you're spending more time on your high horse being rude than you are actually having a conversation with me. I'll have a conversation with you about anything. Many of you hit me up in my DMs and say, hey, Bree, I think you should try this because I saw you were kind of struggling with this, and I think maybe this will help you more. And I appreciate conversations like that. Those are the types of conversations that we should be having. And listen, I understand sometimes people don't get it. And you gotta get a little out of character for people to hear you. Listen, I know this. I worked in activism for a couple of years, and it is very frustrating, especially in what I was doing, because everything was just money driven. I mean, everything in this country is money driven, right? Like, we're trying to pretend like it's not, but it is. Even down to people who are certified cosmetologists, because at the end of the day, you're providing a good or a service, right? And so when it comes down to it, there is still money to be made and business to be done regardless on both sides. And so let's not try to pretend that that's not a thing either. That doesn't devalue the work though. We could acknowledge that and still say that that does not devalue the work. What devalues the work is people who, you know, genuinely don't care. But that's the thing. We've had stylists out here who have been treating Black women like garbage for years. Even now, you know, even now, some of the stylists that I like, I mean, let's be honest, people have gone to see them, have sat in their chairs, and they have gotten horrible service. Horrible service. They're really, really good at selling though. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Mono's hair. I love her products. I've loved her channel for years. But there have also been things that she has told us to do back in the day that, you know, now she's adamant, all these people are telling you to do this and you shouldn't do this and all that. And I'm like, but you told us to do this like 7-8 years ago. So why are you on a high horse? Just say, through my teachings, I learned XYZ. And now I am going to make sure that you guys know that this is the better way to do it. You probably shouldn't be doing it this way because there's the potential for harm. I learned this and now I want to share that with you guys. That's very easy to do, but people don't want to take accountability for saying the things that they shouldn't have said back in the day, right? That's one reason why I love African hair guy Narada so much. That, like, Narada, I want to meet you one day. I want to meet you one day because you are one of the most accountable people on this platform. And there's a whole lot of people that don't like him. And I think it's because he holds everyone accountable, including himself. There have been things that he has done or said on his channel and he has come back and said, yeah, y'all, that ain't it. Or I gave somebody, you know, I gave my sister heat damage. Like, he's very upfront about those things because no human being is perfect ever. And he is very good at holding that mirror up to himself and also holding that mirror up to everyone else. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is that, you know, we operate with intention, we operate with integrity, and we operate with a sense of accountability, because that is what is most important in this space, regardless. Either way, we have all shared information that may not have been the best, may not have been the smartest at the time, but we have also shared things that have helped other people. And so I'm not going to sit here and discredit that, you know? I've learned just as much from other stylists as I have from other YouTubers. I'll just be real. In my journey, I have, you know? But I do want to talk about this whole situation with Black girl curls and just this anger that they seem to have about people not wanting to follow this method. And I'm just going to be frank with you. Just because it's scientifically founded and just because it works does not necessarily mean that it's Bible, you know? And just because you are a licensed cosmetologist It doesn't mean that everybody has to go along with this. It's a method. A method is one other way of doing things. And I think that it's a great method for people who have continued to struggle. They just haven't been able to get it right. They've tried everything. And they want to do this. This method preaches a lot of what I tell you guys. I tell you guys all the time, a lot of you don't know what your hair feels like. You really don't. A lot of you have no clue what your hair feels like, what it's supposed to feel like. You don't allow yourselves to embrace the texture of textured hair because you're too busy trying to make it feel like somebody else's. We have had this conversation before. They are not saying anything that I haven't said before, right? And I have friends on here. My friend Fo, she has a really nice channel and she is really sweet. She is incredibly intelligent, and I consider her to be one of my YouTube friends. And she is definitely down with Black Girl Curls, and her hair is gorgeous, y'all. Like, her hair is stunning. The method definitely works, and I don't think anybody is negating that, but it's the condescension to anyone who was not following that method that is the issue. The reach to condescend or somewhat put somebody down for following a different methodology, because I will tell you this. I have had a stylist almost my whole life. When I was younger, my aunt was doing my hair. Well, actually, no. When I was younger, my aunt's coworker was doing my hair. She started out doing my hair first. But she is really, really good with short hair. She's really good with those like short pixie cuts and, you know, things like that. She is not one who's really into doing hair that's down to people's booty crack. Like that's just not her thing, you know? She kind of had a specialty and she stayed within that specialty. And so eventually, once I got older and I really started to like grow my hair out, my aunt was doing my hair for a period of time. I went from her, a couple of other stylists in the salon that she was working at, and they were all phenomenal stylists. They all had different methods. And this is the thing. Yep, you're a stylist, but your method is not the only method. Is it scientifically backed? Good, cool. I'm happy about that. Y'all know I support scientifically backed methods, but it's not the only method that is scientifically backed, you know? And if you go to a natural hair salon right now, they very well probably won't tell you to do what they're telling you to do. And that's okay. You guys hear me say this often, like I have a stylist out here, but when it comes to getting my hair cut, like straight up cut in a style, I always go to my aunt, because just to me, nobody cuts hair like her. Like the way she cuts hair is just, it's just beautiful. And you guys have seen it. There are some other stylists that I have been to, that I have gone to, because I love the way that they really treat my hair in the process. You know, they have their own methodology for doing things. And those are things that I've noticed over the years with, you know, moving to a new state and, you know, meeting new people and meeting new professionals, seeing how differently everyone does everything. That's the beauty of hairstylists. That's the beauty of people who have this licensure, because in a lot of ways it is also an art form, but it is scientifically based. But just because it's scientifically based doesn't mean that it's only one way, you know? Several things are founded in science, and you know, there are people out here with licenses that have their clients using completely different methods, and their heads of hair are very healthy. They're thriving, and they're going back to them because they love their methodology, you know? At the end of the day, Black Girl Curls is a methodology, right? And people are allowed to feel however they want about it. Get over it. Like, if you're allowed to sit down and criticize me because I make videos on products, then I'm damn sure allowed to sit down and have my opinions about a hair care method that is not written in stone as a law. Like, especially when there are a lot of points about this that I agree with. Like, I don't think there's anyone categorically saying that you are 100% wrong. And there's no one out here like trying to discredit these stylists either, you know? But at the same time, over time in the natural hair community, there has been a huge gap between just naturals and stylists. It's been there for a very long time. It is still there. There are a lot of people who still do not trust licensed cosmetologists. They just don't, and they have reason not to. I've been to horrible stylists. Like, I've sat down in a chair getting ready to have someone do my hair, and she goes to touch it and she yanks it and she says, "Oh, I really thought that your hair was a weave." This was back when I was relaxed. My hair was really long at that point, and I cut it not long after because I was really, really sick of having long hair. But when you sit down in someone's chair, someone that is supposed to be a professional, and that's the first thing you hear is, "Oh, I'm yanking on your hair because I thought it was a weave." I don't want you to do my hair. Like, and so there are a whole lot of people who are coming up and really taking the time to learn and specialize in natural hair care, and trying to bridge that gap between the stylist and the naturals in this community. And I think that is a beautiful thing. But delivery is also everything. I only know the bits and pieces that I have heard about Black Girl Curls from watching my friend on YouTube. So I don't know about them as people. I don't watch them. I don't follow their methods. And I'm completely open to following them, you know, and listening to what they have to say. But I also understand, as someone who has worked within my community, that delivery and knowing when that delivery is necessary and when it's not is also very important. I'm just being honest. Like, I had to learn that very quickly, because especially when you're working in environmentalism, like, you're going into people's homes, you're going into territories that are very sensitive, you know? You're talking about people's cultures and things that people have been doing for years that may not be beneficial to us now. And to go in and to just dismantle all of that without having an ounce of empathy or an ounce of compassion, you can't do that. And especially when a lot of times those of us who are working in these fields, we are very privileged. We haven't had to live in those situations, you know, like, we haven't had to live under those conditions. We had the money and the backing and the funding to go to schools and follow our dreams and our passions. And to be in that position as someone who can educate is an absolute privilege, and it should be treated as such. It should be treated as a privilege. And therefore, it is your job to know when and how to speak to the people who trust you, to speak to the people who are coming to you for help and who are coming to you for guidance, and to speak to people when you are giving them advice that is completely unsolicited, okay? But I do want to address this idea that it is disrespectful to challenge people who are licensed. And I'm just going to be 100% honest, and this is just me knowing at this very moment that this is the moment that I need to go ahead and just say it. That's complete and utter bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. And I say that because as professionals, you should expect to be questioned. Just like I am expected to be questioned in my field. Just because I have the education does not mean that I know better and am better than these people over here who are questioning me. And I say that because at the end of the day, they're the ones that live in this environment. They're the ones that live in this condition. Like, they're looking at me like, who the hell are you to tell me what to do? It's my job to come in there. This is when I was working in advocacy. It's my job to come in there and get to know these people and know what can I do for you. Not the other way around. At the end of the day, you provide a service. As a hair professional, you provide a service, and you are always subject to questioning, and you are always subject to criticism, because at the end of the day, the way that you choose to handle your business affects whoever is sitting in your chair. And Narada, actually, he went on live with his coworker Henny, and they had a live literally about this. Y'all, I'm just trying really hard to get into my roots, so please don't judge me. I'm just trying to make sure I have everything coded. But they had a live about this, about the things that we put up with from licensed cosmetologists as Black people, but especially Black women. We put up with a lot when it comes to people who are licensed, and we take a lot of shit because we just get the, oh, well, I'm the licensed cosmetologist here, so what I say goes. And no one is negating your knowledge, but at the same time, as a professional, you should always expect to be questioned. That is how you get the best care in anything. And shit, in healthcare, there's a whole lot of dummies out here with medical degrees. I know, I've met a lot of them. I'm just saying, licensed doctors damn near ruined my life. If I didn't question them, I don't know where I would be. If I didn't question the people who had my life in their hands, I would probably be a drug addict right now. I wouldn't be on YouTube. I would probably be somewhere shooting up. I'm just being 100% honest about the things that I have experienced. And with some of the stylists that I've been to, if I didn't question them, I would have had very bad experiences. And I would be one of those naturals who really resents stylists. I don't want to be one of those naturals, because at the end of the day, I've had stylists in my journey who have really helped me, you know? They have helped me become the natural that I am today, and they have helped me make good decisions. And at the end of the day, they have helped me keep my hair healthy. And I am so appreciative of that. But never once have I had a stylist tell me that it is wrong for me to question them. Ever. And so those of you who are going around telling people that they are rude for questioning someone who has some type of licensure, I don't know where the hell that came from. I really don't. Like, I've worked for billion-dollar companies with scientists who were making like well above six figures. They were millionaires, and me and my little old student self questioned them. And instead of getting mad, they said, you know what, you have a point, let's try it this way. We made great things because I questioned the people who had more than me and knew more than me. That, at the end of the day, you are still subject to criticism, whether you have a professional degree or not, you know, whether you have a licensure or not, you know. And I mean, at the end of the day, there are still licensed cosmetologists on YouTube telling you to co-wash your hair with herbal essences. Hello, hydration, okay? Like, I don't want to hear it. Just because you are a licensed professional does not mean that you are out here giving people the best advice possible. And yes, that also goes for us influencers. I'm aware of this. I have been saying this. There are a lot of things that people go out here to tell y'all that I'm just like, why y'all telling these people this stuff? Like it's just for views. It's for clout. And that is also problematic. But there are several of us who are saying this. We are acknowledging this. We know this to be true. But unfortunately, that's not popular, you know? Trying to come out and trying to kind of help course correct when it comes to YouTube is not the most popular thing. The trends are the things that are popular. Slathering rice water in your hair and all this other stuff, or just coming up with these like baseless methods that maybe you say you like, but we keep seeing you use them and they keep not working for you, but you keep saying that that's the best method you've ever tried. Like, we see this all the time. But unfortunately, calling that out is not, it's not the way for people. Because at the end of the day, as much as people are out here trying to just figure out their own hair, there are a lot of people out here who are just here for the mess. They're here for the mess, they're here for the drama, and they just want to see what crazy thing someone is going to say next. It's just the truth, you know? And so when it comes down to this thing with Black Girl Curls, it's like, you know, I respect the method because I see that it's working for other people. But you're also not going to come for my neck, because I don't treat what you're saying as a 100 100% absolute. Does it work? I absolutely think it does. I've seen it in practice and I've seen it working for people. Do other things work too? Absolutely. Many of those things include oils and butters. It just depends on the person, and it depends on how they work these things into the methods that they're doing. And I've said this all the time, so many of these issues exist because people just refuse to wash their hair. So many of these issues with buildup and things like that have existed because so many people just abandoned washing their hair. I am all for this idea of this 30-day detox. I think it's a great thing and I see it helping a lot of people. But also, I am not going to judge somebody for being like, yeah, I'm not doing that because what I'm doing is working, you know? And what I'm doing is making my hair happy. I know me personally, whenever I go to my stylist, she's like, just keep doing what you're doing because your hair is great. She, like, every time I see her, she's like, you have little to no breakage. Like, you know, your hair is moisturized, it's thriving, and it's growing. And she's like, that's all I need to see, you know? And sometimes I'll have questions about certain things and I'll ask her and we'll talk about it, you know, certain trends that are out there, or, you know, even sometimes even things that she would like me to reiterate in my videos. And I do, because she's somebody that I trust. But at the end of the day, I haven't had to go through all these different methodologies to try to get my hair to be healthy. But I'm also one of those few people who has had someone really, really great to help me along the way. But it's really annoying to see people act like influencers are the only ones who need to have accountability in this. Like, y'all don't either, because listen, people weren't running to influencers for no reason, you know? And at the end of the day, a lot of people feel like influencers are mad because they think that Black Girl Curls is coming for a bag. At the end of the day, the majority of us are not making as much money as you think. The majority of us are spending our own hard-earned money on these products that y'all keep asking us to review. Let's just be honest. Like, you get mad because we get paid for doing work, which this is a lot of work. Sometimes a video that you guys see takes me a week to create, you know? So it's just, none of this is simple. And I don't advocate working for free. I just don't. But a lot of us are going out here and purchasing these products for you guys. And I'm just the type of person, like, if I'm not at least getting enough AdSense to buy the products, then I'm just not going to do a product review. I'm not going to dip into my own funds because people want product review after product review after product review. I'm not doing that. If you want product reviews, help us in promoting us so that we don't have to keep buying and buying and buying and spending and spending and spending, you know? People complain about product junkiism, but we're being asked to do these reviews. We're being asked to try these products, you know? Like, it's not all just happening in a vacuum, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, there are a lot of us that are still encouraging you guys to find the things that work for you and stick with those things and try some things as you go. It doesn't matter whether you're an influencer, whether you are a viewer, or you are a stylist. At the end of the day, we are all subject to criticism, but we all also have to be willing to be accountable. And I will just say this, I'm willing to have a conversation with any stylist. I am willing to sit down and talk with any stylist and talk about how I can better help serve you guys, you know? I'm always open to that, but I've been consulting my stylist since the beginning of this channel. She watches my channel. And she has corrected me on some things, and I have corrected those things in my videos, you know? I leave up every single video I've made because I don't always agree with the things that I've said, you know, 2-3 years ago, but that's part of accountability, is standing in what you've said and making it very clear that you don't agree with that anymore, you know? And so I don't delete those videos because it's all part of the journey. It's part of the progression. It's part of becoming a better person, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and this has to leave on for 1 minute, and honestly, like, I don't even know. It's sinking in like really, really fast. So I'm going to go get a muffin because my mom made muffins, and I'm going to eat that, drink some water, and then come back and I will finish styling my hair. This is gonna be a long ass video, so. Okay, y'all. So I just rinsed all that out of my hair. I hope I got it all out because I have been struggling trying to get my net on and it felt. I really like this. This is definitely giving me Briogeo Don't Despair Repair vibes. But I would say it leans a little bit more to the strengthening side than the Briogeo one does. That is also another one of my favorite elasticity treatments. Also, this deep conditioner is very thick. It doesn't have a ton of slip, so I'll definitely have to do a little bit more detangling when I add my leave-in conditioner in. But it is very thick, and for me, and I think also too because I clarified heavily before I came on here, like that stuff just went, like it took no time at all. I'm sure y'all were sitting there listening to me talk and watching it soak into my strands because that's how quickly it sank in. So there really wasn't anything for me to help with detangling even when I had let the product set. So I let it set for like 10 minutes. I just put like a little bit of heat on it just to kind of warm things up. But I really didn't even have to. And it feels really, really good. Yeah, this was the perfect reset. I feel like I finally got it, you know, because I was just struggling with whatever was going on in my hair for so long. And honestly, it was only like 2 weeks, but I was like cleansing my hair and I'm like, I'm still seeing like a little bit of stuff in it. So this definitely helped a lot. My hair feels strong, but I don't feel like I need to go in with something moisturizing, you know what I mean? Like this is a perfect base all on its own. So I really like this. Happy that my girl Linda put me onto it because she was saying that she mentioned this on Instagram. I think she hasn't been doing videos. You know, she has a new baby on the way. And she's been protecting her health, taking care of herself, get her degrees. Yes, boo. But she was talking about this and I was like, I have it at home and I've had it for a minute and I haven't opened it. So I'm definitely going to be throwing this into my rotation. I would say if you like Don't Despair Repair, you will probably like this. But it's definitely a thicker, I would say somewhat more strengthening version of that type of treatment. But don't get me wrong, even though this is cheaper, I'm gonna still buy my Don't Despair Repair because that stuff is good. It's really good. Back to the conversation at hand, because I just do have a couple more things that I want to say, and this is more so about, you know, the influencing community and things like that. And I think that a lot of times we falter back to this idea of people who watch us needing to have this level of discernment. And while I do agree, there is a certain level of common sense that everyone needs to have. And there are a lot of times where, you know, I'll get questions and I don't answer them because it's very much I want you to do all the work for me and I don't want to have to do any of the work for myself types of questions. I will say that there are definitely people out here who have placed an unhealthy amount of responsibility on YouTubers who, for the most part, are just sharing their journeys, sharing their experiences, sharing their opinions. And while there are some people who try to come out here and act like they are like the grand poobah of hair, you know, and everything they say is right and everyone else is wrong. I know that there are people out there like that. The majority of us are just regular folks, and we are also doing the best that we can to take care of our hair and our journeys in the different stages of life as we age, as maybe the places that we live change. There are so many things that we as influencers are trying to do, and at the end of the day, the one thing that we consistently say across the board is we are not professionals. And so the only thing that we are speaking from is our experiences. And I am comfortable in that. I am not going to allow anyone to make me feel like my opinion is less than because I'm only speaking from one experience. You know what I mean? I have tons of respect for professionals who have their hands in different heads of hair every day. That is awesome. But I'm not going to sit here and act like there isn't a place for my voice in this space either. And I'm not going to be made to feel like I owe somebody something because I have continued to use my voice. This is something that a lot of us, unfortunately, have attempted to really work on, but a lot of times it falls on deaf ears because there are still people in the space who really are focused on the numbers, on growing their platforms, on making as much money as they possibly can. And they have done that by positioning themselves as people that should be trusted beyond anyone else. I'm going to say that all this shit is bad and that all of these natural hair people and products are scams and all these brands are scams because I want you to see me as the most honest person because I'm telling you that all of this shit is fake and you don't need it. But I'm also going to sell you on other things that you don't need either, right? That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. For a lot of these folks, like, it's a numbers game. And you just have to let those people play out that numbers game, you know? You can like them, you can enjoy their content, and you can watch them for what they are and who they are. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it is also up to consumers to be conscious of who they're watching. And I always say, like, if the shit sounds weird, there's probably a reason. And if you have questions and someone really isn't open to having those discussions with you, then that also is a red flag to me, you know? But there is a lot of avoidance when it comes to accountability, when it comes to people who are influencing, because nobody wants to be kind of taken off that pedestal, right? At the end of the day, a lot of people, they rely on people trusting them on believing them for them to be successful. And because of the way some people have chosen to gain their popularity, they're stuck, you know? It's like you can try to turn around and fix it now, but at the end of the day, it's like you have set this precedent and you have just made this who you are. It also is part of our responsibility as influencers too, to be better about watching what we put out there, you know? Like, it really isn't that hard. And there are people who have been 100% corrected on the things that they have done and said, and they will never ever address the fact that what was done and said was wrong. They just won't. And they know it's wrong. They know it wasn't okay, but they won't address it because of pride, you know? But when you have an audience, you are still responsible for the things that you put out into the world. And that is where that accountability piece comes in, you know? Like, at the end of the day, the things that we say affect other people, and we also have to be willing to be held accountable for that. We have to be willing to hold each other accountable. And that's why I really love the small network of friends that I have made, and kind of taking a step back from some of the relationships that I was in on YouTube, and really just tearing the shit all down and stepping away from it, because it's so much more, it's just so much more calm and kind and genuine. And it all just depends on who you decide to allow to influence your day, to influence your sphere here, you know? A lot of that is personal choice. But a lot of you guys know that you're getting fed really, really bad information, and you continue to hang on to the words of certain people that you know are feeding you crap. So many of Black women have just been beaten down with all the things that they shouldn't do. You can't do this, you can't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And it's like, can we just get some positivity? Like, y'all just act like Black women's hair is just such a chore, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, can appreciate that Black girl curls is attempting to be the antithesis of all that, right? That it doesn't matter if you have 4C hair, porosity, it don't matter. I've been saying that for a long time too. People really don't want to hear that. You come for porosity and people like, what you say? You know, at the end of the day, like, when it comes down to it, maintaining a healthy regimen and learning what your hair feels like on its own without being coated and weighed down by all this different stuff, and without being told that you have to overly coat and weigh your hair down to have healthy hair, that is something that I have been saying for years, and it's something that I totally agree with. Listen, I could probably do the Black Girl Curls 30-day detox challenge, and I would probably have wonderful results. But I've also kind of already done that in a sense, and I say that because when I was living in my apartment, well, before I was living in my apartment, when I was living in my dorm, and I was going through that bout with buildup from the pipes in our school, I pretty much had to do a detox. You know, I really was not using oils. I was not using very heavy products. I wasn't using products that had a lot of oil in them. Once I was able to get out of that environment and actually get my hair clean and back to its regular state. So I've already kind of been there and done that, not intentionally, you know what I mean? And so for me, it's not even really something that I feel the need to do because I've already kind of done it. And I have still developed something that works for me and that I enjoy. But I also know that there are a lot of you guys who still are not in that place. A lot of you guys are still like, yeah, I still have no clue. And so this is something that could be very, very beneficial for you guys. And no one is negating that, but like, we can also say that without talking down about people. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like we also can do that, because while you want to hold influencers who don't have credentials accountable, some of the biggest influencers out here who have been perpetuating a lot of these bad practices have licenses, and you have not held those people accountable. And the only reason why they're really popular and people trust them is because they have long hair, and when they're questioned, they say, oh, well, I'm licensed, and so I know what I'm doing. And that's a big part of the reason why they've never been challenged and never held accountable. And I would think that as a professional, that would bother you way more than someone just like me. You know, like, I feel like that would and should bother you way more, because you have people out here that are using their professional training as a way to tell people, you don't get to question me, even though I am telling you to do things that are very clearly detrimental to your hair. And it's detrimental to my hair too. And you see it, but you're not allowed to question it. You're not allowed to say anything about it, because I don't like that. I don't want you to say those things to me. You can't question it. But because I have a license, you don't get to question me, you know? Like, if anything, that would upset me. Like, if I were in the same predicament as someone who has been in some of the professions that I have been, that would piss me off more than anything else. It wouldn't be the people that don't have any licensure. It would be the people who are licensed still spewing this crap. That's why I have continued to say time and time again, year after year, that there is so much accountability to go around in this community, and no one wants to hold it. Everything has to be so dramatic. Everything has to be so personal. And a lot of times I'm like, man, it's just fucking hair products, man. Like, at the end of the day, it's just fucking shampoo and conditioner. like we're really getting like bent over and crazy over things that really don't even matter. But I have also gone out of my way to share the healthy techniques that have been vetted by my own stylist, with you guys, because at the end of the day, it is the choices that I made along the way that have really helped me in maintaining healthy hair, especially with having a disease. I'm not going to get mad at somebody because they have a community of people that are asking them to speak their piece, and they speak their piece, you know, like she said what she said. And I didn't disagree with anything she said, but the way that a lot of people acted under that video is literally a big part of the reason why we are not interested in these like cliquish, you know, hair care methodology groups, you know, because a lot of it was just really toxic and really nasty. And because people feel like what they're saying is right, they feel like, oh, I'm not attacking you, I'm just correcting you, or I'm just holding you accountable. But you can also hold people accountable without being an asshole too. Like that's also like a thing. You know, I mean, sometimes people take you there. I've been taken there. But you can also hold people accountable without being an ass. And the level of toxicity in the comments and just the blind loyalty, like I can respect that you are passionate about something because it worked for you. I totally get that. But is that not a lot of us on YouTube, that we're passionate about certain things? That we're, you know, some people are really like hell-bent on the lock method because it works really, really well for their hair. And that's what they like, that's what they've been doing. And they're not going to go back to anything else because that's what they enjoy. And they go hard for that lock method. And that's okay because it's what they like. There's a difference between being passionate about something because it has genuinely helped you, and just being rude and bulldozing over anybody who isn't interested or doesn't agree. And as soon as you get to that level, I'm not interested. I'll look at the methods, I'll study them, and, you know, gather my own thoughts for myself. But as far as aligning myself with people who are okay with that, because at the end of the day, you know, I've spoken about things that have happened to me on YouTube. I have never, ever, ever been comfortable with you guys going after anybody in my name, coming at people in a disrespectful way. I always say that I am always so in awe of the people who watch me because I feel like I have some of the sweetest, most loving, and most respectful people over here on this channel. Like, y'all are so sweet. And honestly, like, do I get negative comments? Yes, but they are so far and few between, you know? And usually I just delete them and I go about my business. I might check people sometimes if I feel like it. But as someone who also has become the face of her own little community, I would never be comfortable with people using what I have created to go after people and be rude in my name. I would never be okay with that. And the fact that that behavior is just also being pushed also tells me that this is not just about methodology and believing in science, okay? Like, because I, as a content creator, would never be okay with you hopping onto somebody else's channel and being like, well, I'm just gonna like ream you out, you know? I'm just gonna talk to you like you're nobody because this person that I like believes this. Like, I would never be comfortable with you guys doing that. And if you have, please don't. Because to me, that's not the way to get anything done. It's not productive. And there are ways to hold people that you watch accountable without literally, you know, sending them to the guillotine on the behalf of someone else, you know? So really, when it comes down to it, this is not a question of methodology. This is not a question of science. This is an issue of accountability and respect. That is what it comes down to at the end of the day, because what I saw in that comment section was disturbing. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys have no clue what I'm talking about, honestly, like, you ain't missing anything, because Akia's video was great, but the discourse in that comment section was just weird. Like, it went from like a 2 to like a 5,000 in literally minutes because people just took it personally. But yeah, I just hope that as a community, we all start to take more accountability for the things that we put out there as stylists, as influencers, and as consumers, because we all have a role in this. And as a community of people who are trying to not just excel and be healthier, but also get our bag. You know, a lot of us are really trying hard to find ways to make businesses and promote ourselves and actually like make money doing things that we really enjoy and doing things that we love. And as we continue to do that, there has to be a level of accountability in all of this for any of this to be valuable and functional in this world, you know? So I really hope that this is something that we really start encouraging. And I'm thankful that I surround myself with people on this platform who are 100% comfortable with doing that and have continued to do that. But also know you can't just shove any group of people into a box, you know? I can appreciate what someone else is doing, and I can also still question it at the same time. Two things can be true all at the same time. So I think all of this was really unnecessary, but it also just opened up the floor for my like yearly conversation about accountability, because I feel like I have to have this conversation literally every year, because for some reason, as a community of adults, we still are not able to hold ourselves accountable in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And that's kind of sad, and it's kind of embarrassing, and it needs to stop. I'm gonna do my best to hold myself accountable. I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself, but I'm going to continue to operate in ways that I feel like is the most honest and really walks in the best way of holding up my integrity for me. And that's all that I can do. Not every single one of you were in that, you know, comment section being nasty. A lot of you guys were very appreciative of Black Girl Curls and very appreciative of the people that you followed on this platform. And that's what it's really about, is that balance, you know, and being able to appreciate one another for what we bring to the table, you know? So if there are any of you that want to have that conversation with me, we can do that, and we can just link up and have, you know, like a chat or something and talk about your experiences, and maybe we can even make that a thing. I'm totally open to that. I'm open to anything as long as it's respectful. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, this Aphogee is bomb. And hopefully this wash and go will come out decent with these products, because I've liked them, but I haven't been like crazy about them. But I also need to use them up. So I'll probably put a little picture in the community tab tomorrow, Tuesday, of my dried results, so you guys can see how it came out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry this was so long, but I had a lot to say. I love y'all, and I will see you on Wednesday for my winter empties. Love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.